Okay, the fourth practical, determination of internal resistance of a cell using potentiometer. Right, so the same potentiometer arrangement for these protection circuits you are familiar with. You have a slider and a balance length, say you see L1, and you have a secondary circuit. So you can see the cell that of which the internal resistance should be measured is connected here with an external resistor R and the switch K2, right? So if you want to determine E, now with K2 open, if you take a balance, it will give E, right? So you can first take a force balance with K3 open and K1 closed, then you take a force balance and then close K3 and to get the fine balance. These are all procedures are all same for all potentiometer experiments, right? So you take a fine balance, so and you can say E equal K L1 or something like that, right? Say this is the terminal voltage here, voltage between these two terminals. Now now this is the voltage that is going to be balanced here, right? V equal to K L1. You can say K L1, constant into L1. Okay. What is K? I into R. Now I closed K2. The current will start flowing here. That current, I assume I. Okay. Now I can write two equations here. The terminal voltage here, when the current start flowing, there is an internal resistance. I will write internal resistance also here. That is what we have to measure. Right. So the internal resistance is somewhere here. Right, with the cell. I put there. Now, when the current starts flowing, right, we can write two equations. One is this V is equal to, that is the terminal voltage of the battery is equal to V equal, what is that? The terminal voltage of the cell, E minus IR. E minus IR. This is one equation. And that is the balance length, right? Now this is what we are going to balance now. So at the balance condition only I am writing this equation, because if the balance condition is not reached, the galvanometer will have a reading. That means the current will flow this path also. So you can't write this equation unless it is balanced, right? So you close K2, the current will start flowing here, then you do the balancing, right? So you take the slider from here to there and somewhere it's balanced. When balanced, no current is flowing through the galvanometer. So the current is only flowing through this path. This is something like, if no current is flowing, it's like open circuit. No current is flowing. So no influence on this circuit. So the only current that is circulating will be from this cell is within the circuit, right? So at balance condition, this voltage is equal to KL1, that we know, and also we can write two equations here. One is V equal to E minus IR, and on the other side, if you look at, I can say V equal IR, right? Both are voltage between these two points, E minus IR and I into R. So I can also write V equal IR, right? So what I can do now? I can also find out what is I. I is, sorry, I is, if you use Kirchhoff law for this circuit, I is equal to, for the circuit, the loop, if you use Kirchhoff law, E minus IR equals 0. Confusing? I'll write it again. Now consider this loop. The E is here, electromotive force, minus I into R minus IR equal to 0 is the Kirchhoff voltage law. So from that you can say I is equal to E divided by R plus R. Right? E divided by R plus R. Why I'll write it? So secondary circuit, Kirchhoff voltage law, E minus IR minus I into R equals 0. So from this I can say E equal I into R plus R. So I equal E over R plus R. So I can substitute this I there. So V equal E minus ER divided by R plus R. So this comes to ER plus R minus ER divided by R plus R. V equal these two cancel out, ER divided by R plus R. But we know that it is this voltage that is getting balanced here, right? So from here we can say this voltage V from the balance we can say is equal to KL. So these two we can equate. So we say L because if you want to make it variable, KL. So shall we equate this ER over R plus R equal KL, and if you put it other way around, 1 upon KL equal R plus R over ER. I'll take 1 upon L on one side to multiply this. This one, the R will cancel out. We'll go for this one first. R K over E into 1 upon R plus, if we divide this one, R will go K upon E. So I have written a equation where I can draw a graph because these R, K, E all constants. So I can draw a graph between 1 upon r, that is x, and this is y, and c. Actually, in your book, they are not properly drawn. This should be a variable resistor, because this is what we are going to change now, right? So we take only one reading now, but if you are going to take a graph, draw a graph, we have to change R, right? So first you copy this, I will tell you. Okay, if you have difficulty in understanding this, I can repeat what I said. Okay, the basically what you have to remember is we write all these equations at the balance condition. If it is not balanced, you can't write these equations because the current might flow from primary circuit to secondary circuit, right? Whenever it's not in balance. This is always true with potentiometer. If the potentiometer is not balanced, there will be a current from primary circuit to secondary circuit, or secondary circuit to primary circuit, whatever, we don't know, most of the time it's primary circuit to secondary circuit. If that happens, you can't write all these equations, right? So we are writing all these in the balance condition. Now this is a secondary circuit, it's a loop, right? And once it is balanced, the current from external connections is zero. So only the current is flowing through the secondary circuit. That is why we are able to write this equation. The first equation we wrote for this voltage between this point and this point, that is the voltage that is getting balanced by the potentiometer, right? So I write an equation, as I told you earlier, for the terminal voltage E, V, we can write E minus IR. And also we can write V equal IR if you consider the secondary side, so the bottom side, right? And this R is a variable resistor, although they don't properly say in your book, it's a variable resistor. So for the secondary circuit, I can write, if you write a Kirchhoff voltage law in the loop, right, for this loop, E minus IR equal to 0. So E equal IR plus R. So I can find I here, right, and I substitute this I in this equation, say equation, this is 1, 2, this is 3, and I am substituting 1 and 3 here, right? So V equal E minus E R upon R plus R, and I rearrange this so that I get this derivation, and I bring it here, right? And for the potentiometer secondary, I can write at balance condition KV, terminal voltage is V equal K into L, balance length, right? K is the constant, IR the primary circuit, right? So we don't have to worry about that, we just put K. ER, that ER R upon R, right, equal to K into L. So I rearrange it so that 1 upon L is equal to RK upon E into 1 upon R plus K upon E. So it comes as Y equal MH plus C. Just take another copy of this, because I have written something more. Okay, then from this equation, one upon L equal RK into 1 upon R plus K over E, right? plus it goes as y equal mx c. So I will erase this one also. Now I can draw a graph. How to draw a graph? First of all, a practical experiment is like this. First of all, you set a value for r, right, and then measure, obtain the balance length L, right. Then you change r, right. When you change r, a new balance will be obtained, because when r changes, IR changes, or E minus IR changes. So therefore, the current changes. Therefore, the new balance will be obtained. So get the balance length. So likewise, you continue to change r and get the balance. So your table will be like this. There will be 4 entries. You take r and L and calculate 1 upon r and 1 upon L. Right? When you take about 6 readings, right? Then you can draw the graph. The graph will be y equal mx plus c, right? So this is 1 upon L and 1 upon r, and then your intercept and tangent. So intercept is k upon e, and tangent of slope is r k upon e. So what we had to find out, the practical is about determination of internal resistance of a cell, right? So if you divide m by c intercept, you should get the internal resistance, right? So R equal to Rk upon E divided by K upon E, right? So that is R is equal to slope divided by intercept. Take this pen. So this could be resistance box. Now you can change the resistance, right? So the procedure is given in your book. You can read it, very simple, right? So those are the 4 practicals that is given under measurements in your new syllabus. Earlier we used to have many other practicals also, but I think they have removed only these 4 are mentioned in the book. So we have one practical using ammeter and voltmeter, one practical using meter bridge, and 2 practicals in potentiometers. So go through, read this practical book. The procedures are clearly written, right? And discuss it. If you have any questions, you can ask, right, later also. Get familiar with the potentiometer, how to write potentiometer expressions, especially this balance condition B equal KL. This is the most important one, or B proportional to L, right? So this should be able to state, you should be able to state where it is, right? And when it comes to potentiometers, I told you before, for the potentiometer wire, you can define resistance per unit length, and also you can write potential drop per unit length. So those are two key parameters for this potentiometer wire. So you should be able to understand it easily. When for the potentiometer, the steady source, they say it can be accumulator. Accumulator, what they mean by accumulator is a rechargeable battery, right? Accumulator. Usually lead acid battery, right? Or you can use usually the lead acid battery has a terminal voltage of 2 volts, right? But normally we used to connect it several cells in series to produce 12 volts or 6 volts batteries. Or you can use, they say, two nickel cadmium batteries. The nickel cadmium battery has a voltage of 1.2 volts. So if you use 2, it will be 2.4 volts. 1.2 into 2. That is also nearly 2 volts. So that is the voltage. So because nickel cadmium battery also will, that is also a rechargeable battery. So it will give a steady voltage. Most of the time we use rechargeable batteries here for the steady voltage, because the primary cells tend to boost the battery voltage quickly, right? If you keep it switched on for a long time, right? So we normally use this for accumulator or rechargeable batteries in primary circuit. The measurements are normally done for primary cells. You can use different cells to compare the voltages, or here we are calculating the internal resistance. So the internal resistance of a battery is a very important parameter, right? Whenever you read a question in electricity that involves a battery, always check the question whether the internal resistance is given or it is zero, because it will change the whole scenario when you do calculations. So if you forget to include internal resistance in the calculation, your calculation will be completely wrong, right? So always when you take a question, electricity question that involves a battery, a cell, always check whether the internal resistance is given, right? So either they will say internal resistance is this much, or they will say internal resistance is negligible, right? So in case it is not given, you can take it as zero, but you have to check clearly whether it's given, right? Because that is going to affect your readings. And apart from this, I think everybody copied this. Everybody copied this. The terminal voltage for the battery is very important. Equation I told you earlier, you should be able to straight away write it when there is a cell with R and E and current is drawn I, and there is a voltage between the terminals. You always write V equal E minus IR, right? So you know that this R is going to change the terminal voltage of our battery, right? So if R is present, the terminal voltage is no more equal to EMF. When R is 0, terminal voltage is equal to EMF. When current is 0, that is no load connected, open circuit, the condition is called open circuit condition. If no load is connected, it's open circuit, no current is drawn on the battery. In that condition also V equal E. So those are the two conditions where terminal voltage becomes EMF. Otherwise, it is always less than this, because E minus IR, because this voltage is battery is discharging, right? So it is always V equal E minus IR. Right? So you have to be very careful about this one. Okay, we will meet in the next class with another subject.